Ray.
Thank you, Marcy. Great pleasure to be with you.
I am so excited. We're going to talk about energy today.
Yay!
So, you actually say that we all already have an awareness of energy. So, what do you mean exactly by that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because babies are born with it, and then we seem to lose it as we get older, or at least our awareness of it. But if you look at it, if you've ever given somebody a hug and you felt like you could just melt into them and stay there forever, that's one energy. And if you've ever hugged somebody where it felt like they were a rock on legs, that's another energy. And so we're actually already inherently aware of these things. Or, like, for example, if you wake up one morning and you're on cloud 9 or cloud 10 or 11, that's one energy. And when you wake up and you feel like you want to hit the snooze alarm 27 times and not get out of bed, that's a different energy.
That's
So,
no energy.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly that. That's no good energy flowing.
Yeah.
And so we have this awareness. We've just never really been taught to use it or taught that it's actually a valuable product because we've been taught to use our minds to figure everything out and use the checklist. If it matches, if I can check all the boxes, then I'll choose this. But there's a far different way that is actually about having your life show up with way more ease, but also way more magic. If you start following the energy, your life starts to become practical magic.
Yeah. So, how do you start noticing this magic, the energy?
Great, great question. That, of course, is the question, right? Well, first, we need to recognize it's not a function of our minds. We keep thinking being the key word, that everything that occurs is somehow got to be processed in this thing and make sense. When in actuality, following the energy is actually about following your gut, following the gut instinct. And
Mhm.
so you'll have a situation come up, or have you ever met somebody and you were like, I get kind of creepy vibes from them, and everybody else like,
Yeah.
no, they're wonderful, and then you find out they've been stealing money from everybody, or something, and
Yeah.
that was your awareness at the very beginning. And if we can start to acknowledge that we have this gut instinct and stop putting it aside because the check boxes are checked, then we can start to recognize that this is actually something that we are, and noticing it. All we have to do is start to notice it a little bit more. And one
Yeah.
thing that can be, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, just I have learned to notice it through my healing journey. So I just get so excited about it because it's just like you said, it is magical when you find it. But there's so many out there that don't know how to notice it or tap into it. So I'm just so
Right.
excited for you to share that.
Well, so the first thing we need to recognize is something that's true for us will always make us feel lighter. A lie for us will always make us feel heavier. Or a situation that is going to turn out light is a situation, or we have the awareness before we get into the situation. So, for example, if you look back over your life and think of something that you chose that you knew not to do and it turned out just as badly as you knew it would, well, that sort of thing was heavy, but we chose it anyway. If we could start to recognize when something is heavy and instead choose more of what is light, that's actually what's true for us. And basically what it is it's energetically copacetic. It sort of matches our energy, but also contributes to us. And so if we would start recognizing that there is a lightness and a heaviness in when we look at a choice, we can recognize before we even make the choice, is this going to create more lightness? And really all we have to do is ask, okay, does this make me lighter or heavier when I think about doing it? And that's
Yeah.
the beginning of bringing this into our lives.
Yeah. So exactly. It shouldn't be so hard, right? So if it's hard,
Exactly.
it's not right.
That.
So, and that's what you also have shared about people being more successful if they're following that energy. So, can you share more about that?
Yeah, I mean, one great example would be Richard Branson, who has businesses all over the world. And everybody that works with him knows if Richard gets an idea that makes him lighter, fires him up, we're going to do it. Even though they don't have the infrastructure to create it yet, they don't know how it's going to show up. But he has this willingness to follow the energy and follow what makes him light. And also, the beauty of the way he functions is he can have 1,000 people telling him it's a bad idea, but if he gets light, he's like, sorry, we're going to do it anyway. Y'all figure out how we're going to do it. And that's one example. But also, it's like the most successful parents actually follow the energy. Like you'll have a new mom who knows exactly how to hold her baby. She knows exactly the voice to use to soothe the baby. And a lot of parents, even, they have a sense the baby's making noise and they're like, oh, are they hungry? Or do they need to go to the bathroom or do they need to be picked up? And they actually have that sense. And
Mhm.
so these, what it does is it actually creates success because things work out with ease. And if we
Yeah.
could use anything right now, it's a lot more ease in our lives.
So let's talk about some tools. So maybe some people can start putting this into practice.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing is if you trust your gut, that's the first thing. Okay. But in order to do that, we need to recognize, and I hope we've opened that door in this conversation. We need to recognize that we actually have a gut to trust and that it will actually not lie to us, like our mind will lie to us all the time. Okay. So that's the first thing. Second, if you combine that with the awareness that what's true for you always makes you lighter, a lie will always make you heavier, or something that's energetically copacetic and that will work with you will make you lighter, we need to start looking at, does this make me lighter or heavier? And a really great tool that people can use if they have especially a larger decision to make is they can ask, if I do this, what will my life be like in 5 years? And if I don't, what will my life be like in 5 years? And it's not look like, because we can't see the future. We can perceive the energy of the future that any choice will create. And this, it sounds like one sentence, but it's groundbreaking if we can recognize it, because so many of us are so unhappy because we feel like we don't know what to choose and we don't know what to choose to change a situation. This gives us that gift and puts that power in our hands. And
Mm.
so if you're thinking about two different jobs, for example, if you go, okay, what will my life be like if I do this one or don't? Or what will my life be like if I do this one or don't? The one that's going to be the lightest is the one you want to choose.
Yeah, it's incredible. So tell us about access consciousness and also, your books and some resources where, again, people can put this into action.
Yeah, that I'm a big fan of is action and actually the tools to be able to have in particular situations. So
Mhm.
access consciousness is a set of tools, techniques, and information that allow you to navigate the trenches of life successfully. And not just so that you can live a mediocre life, but so that you can start to soar and spread your wings. And so we have a ton of tools that you can use in any situation to make it easier, like the awarenesses I'm sharing with you right now, but there are probably 10,000 other tools that we have also, for specific things. And my target is to let people know that we've got choice. And so what starts to open up as a result of that is the awareness that we have choice. And when you realize that, then you're not stuck in any situation anymore. And on my website, which is drdanehere.com, I've got a ton of stuff that people can just go there and click and watch and start having this experience. And also on YouTube, I've got hundreds of free videos of different tools because Access literally saved my life 20 years ago. And I mean, literally.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was at a deep, dark place when I had one session and I came out of that one session going from depressed and suicidal. I came out of the one session going, wow, I'm so grateful to be alive. If it can feel this way, I'm in. And
Yeah.
what had happened was I had lost my happy because I was doing everything everybody else said would work, but
Mhm.
it only worked for about a day. And
Yeah.
for the last 20 years, I've just been getting happier and happier and happier. And yeah, there are downs, but the way it goes, it kind of goes like this. When you have tools that work to change things, the access consciousness tools in this case, it's like the general trajectory of your life goes like this. And you'll have downs, but they won't be way down here anymore. It's like a dip like this. And then you use a tool and then you get out of it and then you're at an even higher level. And that's
Yeah.
what I would wish for people, that happiness you're talking about. I
Yeah.
just would like people to know it's truly possible. And I work with thousands of people around the world who have sailed through the lockdown and the pandemic and are actually creating their lives and getting happier pretty much every day.
I know. It is so very possible. And I've lived it too. So that's why I do the work that I do. And I have found the energy and just it just is unbelievable the joy you can live in once you are fully aware. You are able to listen to your intuitions, your guides. And I also, just like to think about energy, I love how you reference it as far as the lightness and the darkness. If it feels heavy, why do you want to do that? If it feels lighter,
Um,
you know, and you, even your words, like it's always working out for me. Whatever your words are, like you just start a little mantra for yourself. But you can even look at someone and you look them in the eyes and you can feel an energy coming off of them. So we really are all energy. We're all connected by energy. It's just allowing yourself to feel and be able to understand that, which that's why we have incredible people like you teaching us to do that. So thank you so much, Dane, for coming on the show and helping us. And it's just the tip of the iceberg.
True story. And thank you so much, Marcy. This has been wonderful.
It certainly has. Have a wonderful day. Thank you again.
You also. Thank you.